What's up, everybody? It's your favorite nerd, and today we are looking at X-Transbots Boost. That's the Knight Rider theme. For those not in the know, at least my interpretation of it, as it were, and it's just kind of how, or what this vehicle reminds me of. Maybe it's the same vehicle, maybe it's not. Don't know, but vehicle mode looks pretty good. I'm going to get a better perspective so that we can get into it. I think it looks good. We're going to talk about accessories and how they integrate into it in a second, but I just want to take a look at this. The reds don't match. Just pointing it out. Not the biggest deal for me because I'm going to have them in robot mode, but it is a big difference. It is a big difference. The gold looks good. The black looks good. The gold up there, the silver on the headlights, that all looks good. Back here, the little, and I think that's actually like a Pontiac symbol, and I think it's on the tires as well, which is a sharp move, a good attention to detail. I like it. Paint got away from him there, but that's all right. That's all right. I'll give him a pass, and then that could have used a second coat. But all in all, I appreciate the effort. Blinker there. Looks good. All that stuff looks good. These headlights here, they fold down, and then that red matches this red, but not the regular red. Doorknob is painted. Where you put the key is painted. I like it. Black windshield. It has like a metallic fleck finish. Same with the paint that's on the red, and that all looks good. They've really stepped up their paint since, I'd say, Arkose. Like, Arkose was really well painted. This is really well painted. I will say that underneath it cleans up well for the most part. No complaints there. Rolls fine. What I wanted to say, though, is that this black windshield bit, I feel like the toy companies have been kind of getting away from the super, stylized in terms of color windshields. Like, they've been kind of going a more realistic route. I think that the black windshield was a smart choice. I think it looks good. I think it makes it look more cohesive and cleaner. Even if you were to display these in whatever alt mode on a shelf, I think that would be a-okay. Accessory-wise, we come with an additional head. I should also note that this is the second release. So, and I will talk about that towards the end. But it's additional face for the unit. It's like the toy face. That's fine. I'll never use it, but it's good enough that they included it. And then a pistol with no finish, but it just has the sculpt. And then this, which does have gray paint, and a flashlight. And I think this was like a tractor beam or magnet. Or maybe it doesn't matter because it's make-believe. It's something that makes something come to something else. And then we'll get back here. I might as well show how this all works. My wife just got home, so my kids are going nuts. But I will do this, and then we'll take a break. So this slides in here. And once that's in there, then you can fold this back around. And that's good to go. And then same here. You can put this inside there. I'll be up in a minute. And I'm in trouble now, said Jack Napier. And then you can close that down in there. Now, I know people that said this didn't fit well on the other one. Fits really well on this one. These reds don't match, FYI. Let me make sure this is all the way down. Still rolls fine. So that's good. Let me see what's going on with the family. I'll get right back to you. Let's do a size comparison. Tiger Tracks. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't know much about vehicles. But I think the Lamborghini looks a little big. However, it doesn't matter to me. To me, what matters is how it sizes up in bot mode. If you're a person that cares about how it sizes up in alt mode more so, then I'm not sure this is going to do it for you. But, that's you're going to have to sacrifice one or the other. For me, I'm glad that they sacrificed this mode. If you're the opposite, well, I don't know what to tell you. Brosidon, king of the Broshans. Let's see if he fits in the back of the trailer. No problem. So he's got that going for him. Here goes nothing. Remove the accessories. Pull this piece out. And away. Fold this back section up. That will untab these side pieces and then allow you to bring that whole piece down there. And now you have to separate the arms. So fold them out here at the wheel well a little bit, and then untab this. The problem is that you have one piece that's stuck inside, and you have this locking mechanism here on the window of the car. Oh, but it'll go. It's right there and right there where it plugs in. So shoulder out, and the shoulder out bit, it just helps work everything out. So the problem really is not anything but that. And once you get to there, you can get around it. But it's just not the best feeling in the world. And then get the arms out to the side. For the forearms, open this up here, the hand, rotate it, and then you kind of got to drag it across this piece here. As you do it, keep manipulating the hand, and that will allow you to get it past that tension point. Like that. And then you can fold this up, but you got to bring that through. Fold that up. And then get it sorted. You can tell which way it's got to go by the way it articulates. Same on the other side. Hand open. Turn it. Once you've got it turned this way, swivel it around here. And as you swivel it, kind of keep turning the hand. So you clear the thumb and then turn it past the thumb. That went a lot better. To there. Now, the thumb will get jammed up again, so just maneuver it again. Then you fold this piece. As you're folding it, bring the hand through, and that's done. Take this piece away from the face, which only purpose is to cover the face, which I get. The problem is that now you have to clear this piece past the head, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. So just kind of there. That did it. At that point, you can bring this whole section up. Keep the windows out, I think. And then take this piece. It's on a double hinge. Rock it down. Close that. Bring this up. And that clips in there. There's a double hinge up in there. Not sure if you can see it. Rock that down. Rotate these pieces in so that they line up as flush as they can with this piece. And then you have to line this up. Ordinarily that wouldn't be such a big deal, but because of these tires it is. So try to get them as straight as you can. There's two small tabs that plug into them. We're going to try it. We're not going to waste too much time. And that worked. No, it didn't. This isn't quite lined up, but it's just going to have to work for now. All right, so let's set ourselves up for success for the real pain here. So swivel your legs around and lock the knees in by rocking them down on a double hinge. All right. Fold this bit down here and this bit down there. Untab that piece there. There's a hinge here. Rock that up. And then you have the sliding bar here. And then this piece here swivels. And here is where the problem lies. You have to clear around this tire, which is the issue. So let's see what we can do. Alright, let's stay oriented. There we go. There it is. Not the worst. That's a little loose, isn't it? That's one of the smoothest I've ever been able to do it. Alright, rotate this around. Bring this down. Bring that back up. Heel spur. Oh, wait. Fold the tire in. Fold that back up. Heel spur. foot. Done. Got this down. We're going to untab this here. And then we got to make sure that this is tabbed in here too. I got a feeling that's going to come untabbed. Knees are weak. All right. So once we got that untabbed, you can just kind of feel the way things have to move, because like there's only certain things that swivel or whatever. So get that out of the way. Rock this up on this hinge here. And then you can rotate this piece around, this piece here, so it was up like that. You rock this up on the double hinge, you slid that through, so there's the clearance, and then this turns, and as this turns, as the world turns, you've got to make sure that this all goes inside that little pocket. At that point, you've got everything the way it should be. Move this piece out of the way, fold that through, bring this piece, right, fold your tire in, fold that around, and then make sure it's lined up on the other side, so you use your sliding bar to get you back where you need to be. And mine does not want to go. When it's all correct, you should have this piece in that slot there, this piece in that slot there, so same on both sides, and then have that piece, it's like a little tab inside the screw hole, and the same on this side, which is giving me some grief, but I'm going to try to fix it off camera and see if I can't get it to work. But yeah, that's that. So we'll clean them up and we'll take a look at them. So he holds his accessories just fine, as you can see. I wasn't able to get that foot quite right. I got it a bit closer, but still not quite right. We're going to talk about that as kind of a reoccurring issue with this fella as we continue. We'll remove the accessories for the sake of talking about them. Now let's go. So the head is on a hinge swivel, which I think is the perfect way to articulate a Masterpiece head. Due to the sculpt, you don't get much up, but you get a little bit, and you don't get much down. So that's unfortunate, but I think it's okay. Let me try to get some more light on this subject. Alrighty. I think that the head sculpt is nailed. I think they nailed that head sculpt. This color here, I know people think that it's not, like they say it's not cartoon accurate, and I know what they're saying, and it should be gray. But this doesn't bother me. Like there are animation cells where the gray did look a bit more blue. Doesn't bother me. So it's in hand, like it's no big deal. That's how I would say, just in terms of my opinion. All right, so let's move down. We got the silver finish. We got the blue eyes painted on there. The blue eyes, I wish they would have picked a different color blue, but they did a good job painting it the color they did. So I'll take it. Alright, I don't hate this thing, okay? But I do have issues with it, so here we go. It has a bit of a butterfly joint, but it's not supposed to, because this is supposed to tab into the chest, which would lock it in place. This one is relatively locked, this one is not. If it's unlocked, you get the butterfly joint, and you don't really notice that it's not locked, so I'm not sure if having it locked is necessarily worth it. So I would say probably don't lock it, and get a little bit of extra articulation out of it. So I'll take that. Now, this hinge here, the problem is if you do use the butterfly joint, which you're not intended to do, so I get it, but it's a tight fit between this piece. So as you move it, you'll have to constantly fix that piece back in order to keep your sculpt. So, it may not be a big deal to you, not really a big deal to me, but I'm just pointing it out. At this connection here, we have a hinge, and it's because of the ball joint, you can kind of get his shoulders down, or you can put them up, depending on your sensibilities, whatever makes more sense to you. And then it's the ball joint, so you get the swivel intact, and you get up to there, which I think is okay. Not perfect, but okay. So that's all fine. You get this white paint here, which is okay as well. It does get a little outside the lines, but it's not terrible. I do have a stress mark right there on my gray piece, so take that for what it's worth. Bicep swivel. Single hinged elbow gets you 90 degrees. And then you have this. I feel like that. All right, that's better. That's better. Okay, wrist swivel. So that's good, and then you get a little bit of a hinge or tilt, so that's fine as well. And then you get the base pin knuckle for finger articulation, which I think is good enough. Same for the other side. You get a little bit of a gap there. Not a big deal to me, but just pointing it out. Waist swivel, it destroys the sculpt, but it's there. If you just used it a little bit, it won't bother you, I don't think. We have the black paint here, and we have the white paint on the side as well. Otherwise, you get the red paint from the car, which follows through, which I think is good. This is just, I think it's just a glossy plastic, but it's, you know, that might have a finish on it. Either way, it looks good. It has a finished look to it, which I like. Black paint on there. Hips, same type of deal, but I feel like some has the finish and some doesn't. Like this has the finish here, pardon my reach, and then this piece does not, so that's unfortunate. Universal joint there, so you get up to there, out to there on friction, and it's fine. It would have been better with small ratchets, but it's fine. We'll get to where it definitely needed them a bit later. Thigh swivel built into the bottom of the Universal, that works okay. Legs are white and plain. Not sure if Repro labels are going to fix that, but it does need something. It does need a bit of an accent, I feel like, because it is awfully, it's unremarkable, right? Moving down, the black looks great on there, and we have this is actually a single jointed knee, really, to get you 90 degrees, which is fine. Now, the problem is that you have the weight of this die cast down here, and this joint is just held with that screw. I'm going to tighten that screw and see if I can't make a bit of a difference out of it, but he does have a little bit of wibbly wobbliness to him. So just pointing it out, it's not the worst thing in the world. I've seen them do worse. So there you are. Now moving on to the feet, and we're going to talk about this a bit. So you have die cast in the feet, which makes this joint a bit loose, but not terrible. The black paint looks good, as we said. You get a foot tilt all the way down, and then even a little bit up. Hope you can see that. A little bit up, all the way down, and this will follow suit. Not up, but down. And then you get a rocker right there, which works fine. You can get an extreme angle, but I guess it works on the back too, so that's kind of cool. But I guess, does it unplug anything? Nope. So well done there. Yeah. Okay, so you see how like it's constantly wanting to do that. Like ratcheted knees, much like Beachcomber, would have made a big difference here. It really would have. It would have kept it a little bit more concise and consolidated, I think, as a piece. But all in all, not bad. Now, the feet. There's a lot of work you got to go through to get the feet to this position. And I'm not sure if that look really pays off. Like, I'm not sure if I see the fruits of my labor there. Head on, doesn't bother you. But from an angle, it is a bit unsightly. But not terrible. So let's do some size comparisons. So there he is with a few mini bots, iGear Brawn, and then Bumblebee, you know, and then Sideswipe for a more regular size. And like, I'm okay with that. I think all these little mini bots are kind of leveling out at different sizes, and I kind of like the fluctuation. I don't need them to be all exactly the same, so I'm good. There he is with his G1 counterpart, and there's his in Wheeljack's lifeless corpses laying next to one another. Too soon? Look, it was 1986. And if it makes you feel any better, I only crack jokes because it helps me cope with the loss. I'm only laughing on the outside. My smile is but skin deep. If you could see me on the inside, I'm really crying. You might join me for a weep. Final thoughts. Negatives wise, I feel like at the end he is a bit on the plain side, and then a few things that do give you accents are not really accents you want, like those screws on the forearms. I wish that the reds would have matched, especially in the feet, because that is something that's pretty obvious in robot mode. That the ones in car mode don't really affect me. I don't think many people are going to have this guy in car mode. I'm going to tell you right now, I planned on doing tailgate to go from car to robot. Not going to happen. I'm going to have to do it this way because I'm just not transforming them again. There are things about this transformation-wise that eat me up. Not necessarily in complexity, just in terms of being afraid I'm going to break something. This is the thing. This is not bad. But the transformation the things that have to lock in and tab in, it's a fit and finish issue, I guess. To quote my good friend T2RX6, it's a fit and finish issue. It's the way that things lock in, it's the way that things tab in that cause problems for this guy. Things having to grind up against one another in order to go through. I once again hold true to my criticism of X-Transbots as of late, is that they bite off a bit more than they can chew in the terms of complexity. This is not bad. It would have been fun if it would have unthought it a little bit. It's very involved and it works, but there's things that don't quite hold together quite right. They don't quite make you feel good. Like, you know, like let's point them out. You know, so people don't say, oh, you're just saying that and it's not that much. Let's point it out. The tires in here don't quite clip in the way you'd like them to, except for me because I like the extra articulation. But that's something that I get as a result of a mistake. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like I get it because I was able to think around the engineering. It's something that's supposed to lock in and it doesn't. As a result, I'm okay with the extra articulation. This is all good. Down here, the knees don't give you the good feels, and then getting this circle piece here to lock into there can be a bit of an issue, and getting that piece there to slip up in there can be a bit of an issue. That's all fit and finish things, and it's all things that maybe with a simpler transformation, at least a few less moving parts could have probably been avoided and given you a really knockout piece. Added a few accents, a few, you know, little things to look at to make it visually interesting. Now, I understand that he's not the most visually interesting character anyway. I get that. But I'm saying you're making the toy, so you have the kind of freedom to do a couple things. You don't have to take too many liberties, of course, but you can take a couple liberties in order to give like a more striking finished piece, which I don't feel like this guy does necessarily. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't look good as a Windcharger. It's just for the amount of work that you got to go through to get him here and the amount of potential damaging and grinding of plastic against plastic in order to make that happen, the payoff at the end, it's one of those things where is the risk worth the reward? On the positive side, though, the sculpt is great, especially that head sculpt. It's all sorts of on the money. The paint is great. X-Transbots has really been knocking the paint out of the park recently. Even with Arkose, which I wasn't a big fan of, I still said that the paint looked great. The transformation. Now, I've just mentioned all my gripes with the transformation, and I still hold true to those gripes. But if the fit and finish were better, even with as many moving pieces as there are here, it still is relatively intuitive because especially taking into consideration if those pieces did not grind against one another. Do you understand what I'm saying? If that was not the case, this transformation would have been pretty cool, because a lot of times, even though the things are moving and manipulating and you're not quite sure how it's going to turn out, a lot of times you have to move it a certain way. You can't spin it clockwise. You have to spin it counterclockwise. You can't rotate this. You have to rotate that, and et cetera, et cetera. Before you know it, the piece has just formed itself. So I do appreciate the engineering here. I just wish that the tolerances were a bit better and that the pieces, the individualized pieces, were able to give more clearance to the other pieces to allow a more free-flowing transformation. I have to say, I recommend him if you're not going to be transforming them back and forth a whole bunch of times. I'm not sure, with the amount of tension that's held together with this thing and the amount of grinding of plastic against plastic in order to achieve this, I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up over time if you're one of those people that likes to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you're a once or twice kind of guy, put him on the shelf and enjoy, I got to give him the recommend, because he's not bad. And I definitely think that this is probably the most efficient thing they've done. I know he's getting a lot of flack on the interwebs for the feet transformation, and I get that. I totally do. But it's not terrible. It's really not. And if those pieces allowed the clearance for the other pieces, I wouldn't have had one complaint, except maybe that we would have saved some on the aesthetic in order to not cash in on an overly engineered piece. But all in all, not bad. Not breathtaking. Not game-changing. But not bad. Tighter joints, better use of ratchets versus friction, a better fit and finish, and more individual piece clearance and you would have had a really knockout figure on your hands. But at the end of the day, not bad. And for X-Transbots, pretty good. So, you know, if I'm saying it's all right, I think it's pretty all right, because I don't cut this company a whole lot of slack. If you like their other pieces, I think you'll like this one. If you're kind of like, I wish these other pieces were better, like I am, I think you'll like this one. If you hate those other pieces, well, you might get to I wish this piece was better stage. Hope that makes sense. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.